As always, bienvenidos, welcome to Spain on a Fork. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and feeling fabulous at the same time. Anyways, today we are making a dish that's gonna prove that less is more and that by using cheap ingredients, you can still create an extraordinary dish that everybody can enjoy. We're talking a Spanish bread and garlic soup. This dish is known here in Spain as either una sopa de ajo or una sopa castellana. It's got so many beautiful flavors. It's very easy to make, and it comes together in just 30 minutes, folks. This is a perfect dish for one of those busy weeknight dinners, yet it's sophisticated enough for a luxurious meal. Let's begin by cutting a baguette into pieces that are 1 inch apart, which is 2.5 centimeters. To make this recipe, which feeds 2 people, you're gonna need between 7 to 8 pieces of baguette. Now, I bought this yesterday and let it sit out overnight. That way it can harden up. This helps give a little bit more texture to the soup, but in reality, you can use a baguette you bought the same day and the soup is still gonna have a great texture. And then we'll cut each slice of baguette into 6 evenly sized pieces to end up with some squares of bread. For the next ingredient to prepare, I'm going to grab 1 head of garlic and remove the skins from the cloves of garlic. Like I always tell you, I like to twist a clove of garlic as the skin is easily removed and the garlic doesn't lose its shape. And as I'm doing this, I always like to have a paper towel underneath for an easy cleanup. And thinly slice the cloves of garlic. And for the final ingredient to prepare, which is the secret weapon of this recipe, we have some pimentón de la vera. This is sweet smoked Spanish paprika. This is what really flavors the soup. You'll find a link to the one that I'm using in the description box below. I'm going to reserve 1 teaspoon of it, which is 2.30 grams. Alright, let's start cooking up our soup. I'm going to grab a deep pan. You can also use a stock pot here. Heat it with a medium heat. And add in a 1/4 cup, which is 60 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. After heating the olive oil for 2 minutes on a medium heat, I'm going to add in the sliced garlic and start mixing the garlic around with that extra virgin olive oil. You want to mix the garlic continuously, that way they don't burn and they all evenly saute. After about 2 minutes, and the garlic is developing a light golden fried color, you don't want to brown it too much, otherwise it gets a bitter flavor. I'm going to add in the pieces of bread and continue to mix the ingredients around with that olive oil. Once again, very important to mix this continuously, that way the ingredients don't burn and they all evenly cook. About 2 to 3 minutes after adding the pieces of bread into the pan, and as you can see, there's no more olive oil in the pan. It's all been absorbed by the pieces of bread. I'm going to add in the 1 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika. Once again, this was 2.30 grams. And season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give this a quick mix. That way all these seasonings are evenly mixed together. And like I always tell you, when you add in paprika into a hot pan, you want to mix it quickly, otherwise it easily gets a bitter flavor. And we'll add in 1 liter of vegetable broth, which equals 4 1/4 cups. Now the vegetable broth I'm using to make this recipe is homemade. You'll find the recipe on how to make it in the iCard above. We'll also add in 1 bay leaf, and give this a quick mix and bring it to a boil. Once the broth comes to a boil, I'm going to place a lid on the pan and lower the fire from a medium heat to a low medium heat. And we're going to simmer this for about 10 minutes. This is enough time for all these flavors to come together. After about 10 minutes, I'm going to remove the lid from the pan. And check it out, look how beautiful this turned out. For the final step, we're going to poach a couple eggs inside of the soup. Now before I add my eggs in there, I always like to crack them into individual bowls. This is just to ensure that no shells go in there and that the egg yolks are not broken. Once the eggs are in the pan, I'm gonna place the lid back on the pan. And we're gonna go between 3 to 4 minutes here. This is enough time for those egg whites to fully cook through and for those egg yolks to still have a beautiful creamy texture. After about 4 minutes, I'm gonna remove the lid from the pan and the pan from the heat. We'll transfer some of the soup into a shallow bowl. Place one of the poached eggs over the soup and sprinkle it with some freshly chopped parsley, folks. Check it out. Our Spanish bread and garlic soup is then sopa de ajo or sopa castellana. Such a beautiful presentation. Let's give this a try and see how it tastes. Now this is what I call a bowl of some serious goodness. What an incredible aroma. Here we go. So good. I've had this soup so many times in my life, and every time that I eat it, it surprises me by using such simple ingredients. They can get such a huge explosion of flavors. You saw this, folks. A Spanish bread and garlic soup. Super easy to make. Comes together in 30 minutes. It truly does not get better than this. Cheap ingredients, classic Spanish food. Really quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Martin John Madsen, Jesper Halloum, and Joe Novak. Again, guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. It's thanks to you and the rest of my patrons why Spain on a Fork continues to move forward. If you're not a patron, consider becoming one. Help with ingredients and equipment to continue making videos like this. You'll find my Patreon link in the description box below and iCard above. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. Leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.